Have you ever wondered why some men seem to have an effortless connection with women, while others can't seem to make it work no matter what they try? What if I told you that the real secret has nothing to do with your money, looks, or even charm? It's something much deeper, something that the ancient Stoics understood over 2,000 years ago. Stick with me, because today we're going to uncover the hidden psychology behind attraction and relationships, and how Stoicism can completely change how you approach love. So here's the big question. Have you ever felt frustrated after trying everything in your power to win someone over, only to find yourself feeling like you're missing something? And have you ever wondered why, despite all the effort, some guys seem to have women flocking to them effortlessly? Well, the answer lies not in what you're doing, but in how you're thinking about relationships. The Stoics had it right all along, and their teachings can reshape the way you view love and attraction. Let's be clear about one thing. Stoicism isn't about trying to manipulate others or play mind games. It's about mastering your own mind and actions. When you master yourself, that's when the magic happens in relationships. Think about the last time you felt frustrated or confused in a relationship. Maybe you were always available, giving compliments, doing everything right, but nothing clicked. The problem might not lie in your actions, but rather in your mindset. The Stoics understood this crucial point. How you think and perceive things can determine everything. Now let's break it down further. The problem for many men lies in a mindset of lack. They think, if I can just get her to like me, then I'll be happy. But this mindset is doomed to fail. Why? Because it places all your worth, all your validation outside of yourself. When you're relying on someone else to fill a void or make you feel worthy, you're already coming from a place of neediness. And women can sense this a mile away. It's not about being alpha, beta, or any of those labels we often hear. True attraction stems from being grounded, confident, and emotionally independent. That's what really draws people in. But how do you get there? That's exactly what we'll dive into today. Let's start with a key concept from Stoicism, the dichotomy of control. Simply put, there are things you can control, and there are things you can't. You can control your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. But you can't control how others think, feel, or act. This is a game changer when it comes to relationships. Have you ever stopped to think about how you show up in relationships? Here's the catch. You can't control whether someone likes you or not. You can't control their feelings or their actions. But there's one thing you can control: how you present yourself. If you're enjoying this content so far, take advantage and say a big thank you. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips that can transform your way of seeing the world and life. So ask yourself, are you genuinely kind, confident, and authentic? Or are you trying to fit into someone else's idea of what you should be just to impress them? Let me share a story about Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor. Despite holding immense power, Marcus dealt with personal struggles like betrayal and loss. Yet instead of trying to control others, he focused on controlling himself. He once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Now let's apply this idea to modern relationships. Imagine you're on a date. You're feeling nervous, worried about saying the wrong thing. Instead of stressing over what she thinks of you, why not focus on simply being present? Be genuinely interested in getting to know her. Listen more than you speak. If she doesn't respond the way you expected, that's okay. Remember, you can't control her reaction, but you can control how you handle it. This shift in mindset is powerful because it removes the pressure from you and allows you to be your true self. And guess what? Authenticity is incredibly attractive. Next, let's dive into another Stoic concept. Amor fati, the love of fate. This is about embracing everything that happens, whether it's good or bad. In relationships, that means accepting rejection, heartbreak, and even those awkward moments. Why? Because they're all opportunities for growth. Consider this. Every no you face is bringing you closer to the right yes. But most guys don't see it that way. Instead of learning from rejection, they take it personally, and it crushes their confidence. Let me tell you about Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher born as a slave. Despite his challenging beginnings, Epictetus taught that we should accept whatever life throws our way, including difficulties. He famously said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens the way it happens. And when you do this, you'll find peace." Let's apply this to dating. Imagine you ask someone out and they say no. Instead of seeing it as a failure, see it as a redirection. Maybe they weren't the right person, or maybe they have their own battles to face. Either way, their no is just information, not a reflection of your worth. When you start to see rejection this way, it no longer holds power over you. And guess what? That kind of perspective, it's magnetic. Confidence shines through when you stop fearing rejection, and women can sense that. In Stoicism, virtue is considered the highest good. It's about living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. When it comes to love, this means being the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, but for you. Here's the truth. Women aren't looking for a perfect man. They're looking for someone who is constantly striving to improve, someone grounded with principles and a strong sense of purpose. Take Cato the Younger, for example. He was a Stoic known for his unwavering integrity. Even when the world around him tried to force him to compromise his values, Cato stood firm. And he didn't do it for fame or recognition. He did it because it was the right thing to do. If this video is making sense to you, say thank you and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss anything that's coming up. In relationships, this is what it's all about. Be a man of your word. If you say you'll do something, do it. If you mess up, own it. Women notice these things. They notice when you're consistent, when you treat others with respect, and when you stay true to your principles. Those qualities, way more attractive than any material possession or superficial trait. Now let's dive into understanding female psychology. This isn't about stereotypes or broad generalizations. It's about understanding what draws women to men. Women, like men, are attracted to certain qualities: confidence, emotional stability, and a clear sense of purpose. And this is where Stoicism comes in again. It teaches you how to develop these qualities from within. So let's break it down. Confidence isn't about being loud or arrogant. It's about being comfortable in your own skin. Emotional stability doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. It means managing those emotions in a healthy way. And a sense of purpose? It's not about having everything figured out. It's about moving towards something meaningful. Take Seneca, another famous Stoic philosopher. He wrote a lot about the importance of self-awareness and mastering emotions. He believed that true strength comes from understanding who you are and aligning your actions with your values. In relationships, this means being clear about what you want and what you stand for. It means being honest about your intentions and showing respect for the other person. When you approach relationships with this kind of inner strength, you become someone worth investing in. Let's talk about emotional resilience. This is where Stoicism really shines. In relationships, emotions can often run high. Jealousy, insecurity, fear of rejection. These feelings are natural, but they can also sabotage your connections if you don't know how to manage them. The Stoics teach us how to observe our emotions without being controlled by them. Think of it like this. Emotions are like waves in the ocean. You can't stop them from coming, but you can learn to surf. And just like surfing, the more you practice, the better you get at riding those waves without letting them knock you down. Let me share a story about Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. Zeno lost everything in a shipwreck, yet he used that experience as a turning point in his life. Instead of succumbing to despair, he channeled his energy into studying philosophy and building a new life. He didn't let his emotions control him, and that's the key. In relationships, this means not letting your emotions dictate your actions. If you feel jealousy creeping in, acknowledge it, but don't act on it. If insecurity shows up, remind yourself of your worth. Mastering your emotions allows you to remain calm, steady, and dependable, like a rock in a storm. And that's the kind of person people can rely on. Now let's dive into detachment. Detachment doesn't mean not caring. It means not letting your happiness depend on something outside of your control. In relationships, this is crucial. So many men tie their self-worth to whether someone likes them or not, but Stoicism teaches us to find our worth within ourselves, independent of anyone else's approval. Take Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher, as an example. He emphasized the importance of inner freedom, believing that true happiness comes from within, not from external validation. In relationships, this means being okay with whatever happens. If someone likes you, great. If they don't, that's okay too. Your worth doesn't change either way. When you approach relationships with this level of detachment, you become more confident, more present, and most importantly, more authentic. And authenticity, that's what really draws people in. Lastly, let's talk about the role of communication. Communication is the bridge between two people, and Stoicism has a lot to teach us about how to use our words. The Stoics believed in speaking with intention, clarity, and honesty. They also emphasized the importance of listening, truly listening, without letting your ego get in the way. Think about Marcus Aurelius again. As a Roman emperor, he could have spoken from a place of power and authority, but he chose to communicate with wisdom, humility, and respect. This is what makes someone not just a good communicator, but a great one. Let's take a moment to reflect on something Marcus Aurelius once wrote. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil. In relationships, this isn't a call to be cynical. It's about approaching conversations with empathy and understanding. It's about being honest, but always with kindness. It's about listening without judgment. When you communicate this way, you build trust. And with trust, you deepen your connections. Understanding that people often act from a place of ignorance, rather than malice, can change how you approach difficult situations in relationships. Now let's talk about shared values. The Stoics believe that the foundation of any meaningful relationship lies in alignment with what you value most. It's not about liking the same things or sharing identical hobbies. It's about core principles such as honesty, respect, and growth. Take Cleanthes, a Stoic philosopher who lived a simple life, but was deeply committed to his values. He believed that true happiness comes from living in harmony with nature and with others. He knew that your values shape your world, and that's exactly what relationships are built on. In relationships, this means being clear about what you stand for and seeking someone who shares those same values. It's not about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone whose principles are in sync with yours. When you build a relationship on that foundation, it becomes unshakable. Here's the truth. Love isn't about finding the perfect person. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and finding someone who aligns with your values, your growth, and your purpose. When you approach relationships with this mindset, everything changes. You stop settling for less than you deserve, and you start building connections that are deep, meaningful, and lasting. So let's sum it all up. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. It shows us how to embrace challenges, live with virtue, and understand the deeper psychology of love. It's about emotional resilience, detachment, clear communication, and shared values. When you apply these principles, you don't just attract love, you create it. And that, my friend, is the most powerful thing of all. And before I finish, I want to thank you immensely for watching this far. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your comment because I really want to know what you thought of all this. Give me your opinion in the comments. See you in the next video.